President of the Senate, Vice President J.D. Vance breaking the tie again. 2 weeks ago was what he called one big, beautiful bill. This time it was H.R. 4, known as the Rescissions Act. The bill includes $9 billion in cuts. It aims to make permanent some of the cuts from DOGE. Many of the cuts impact foreign aid, and $8 billion cut from the United States International Agency for International Development. But there are also cuts to federal funding for NPR and PBS. The White House claims these news programs have spread radical propaganda. They were the top intelligence chiefs in the country, and now they appear to be targets of an investigation. The FBI is looking into its former head, James Comey, and into former CIA Director John Brennan. The two are being investigated for possible criminal conduct relating to their claims of possible Russian interference in the 2016 election. Ohio Republican Judiciary Committee Chairman Congressman Jim Jordan joins me. Good evening, sir. And
good evening, Greta.
What's the FBI looking for? I mean, and in both of them, if you know, and what does the Judiciary Committee? Are you interested in looking into this?
We are, and I'm glad to hear the FBI is, frankly, because go back to the start of this. Go back to January of 2017. So prior to President Trump being sworn in, he's won the election. He's going to get sworn in on January 20th, 2017, his first term. And Comey and Clapper and these guys go up to Trump Tower to give the president a briefing. The president assumes this is a normal, the briefing the incoming president of the United States is going to get from the intelligence community. But that's not what they did. They went up there trying to set the president up. They went up there and talked to him about the dossier that they already knew was false. The dossier they knew came from the Clinton campaign through the Perkins Coie law firm, where they hired Fusion GPS, who then went out and hired the foreigner Christopher Steele, who wrote down all the garbage. And they go up there and brief the president on that. And then to make matters worse, they make sure somehow that document gets leaked, or the fact that they talked to the president gets leaked, and thereby giving it additional credibility. And the president's assuming, oh, I'm just getting my normal briefing, and they're talking to him about something that's bogus. That's when this all started. And of course, it led to the Mueller investigation, $30 million, 2 years of all this. And of course, they found nothing because there was nothing there. But that's what these guys did. And so I want to know anything else that we haven't uncovered thus far that may have taken place when they started this charade, this false thing, this false case against President Trump.
You know, you and I are both lawyers. You have to get in a courtroom oftentimes, or as if you're prosecuting a case or something, and to try to show intent, which is sometimes very difficult to get inside someone's head and convince the jury. But I tell you what's always bothered me about Director Jim Comey, and I have a profound amount of respect for institutions, for the FBI and all these hardworking people. But it has really stuck with me that he took a document from the FBI and he gave it to a friend in New York, a Columbia University president, to leak to the New York Times. And it was so dirty. I thought, if you want the document out in the public domain, have the courage to do it yourself. But that little sneaking around, to me, is something that's really stuck with me. I thought that it did not have good intent when you do something like that.
Yeah. We've deposed a number of people in Congress, and I will tell you this. I don't know. Well, there are very few who had the arrogance of Jim Comey. I mean, it's just like, this guy thinks he's different. He thinks he's better than the rest of us. He thinks he's better, in my judgment, than the people he's supposed to serve, we the people of this great country. And that's just another example of him doing something that he had obviously somehow justified in his mind, but was just not appropriate. And again, I go back because I think this was the start. They spied on the campaign, they used the dossier, but this is now after President Trump has won. He's going to be the next president of the United States. He believes he's getting the customary incoming briefing from the intelligence community, and it wasn't that. It was something else. If that's not a conspiracy to go after the guy who's been elected by the American people to be the commander-in-chief, I don't know what is. And so I'm glad that Mr. Patel, Director Patel, and his team are looking into this.
How do you reconcile this, though? I think probably the Clinton campaign, going back to 2016, would say that the thing that they're angry about with Comey is that I think in July of 2016, he pretty much said he wasn't going to prosecute. There was nothing there, and my memory is very foggy on this. But right close up to the election, suddenly said that they found something someplace, and it was pretty late in the campaign before the election. And I think many in the Clinton campaign thought that Comey's statement about the then candidate for president, Hillary Clinton, sabotaged her chance of election just a few days later. So how do you reconcile that? Is it equal opportunity?
No, I think I think he assumed Clinton was going to win. The whole world did. So he's thinking, well, I can kind of cover my backside, go ahead and put this out there and say this. She's going to win anyway. Remember, she was up in every single poll. No one thought President Trump was going to win that election. And so I think Comey thought, I can do this. This will look okay. If it ever comes out, the games we played. Remember, we haven't even got into Strzok and Page and what they were saying. That one, don't worry, we'll stop him. That text message from Peter Strzok to Lisa Page, who were serving on Comey's team. So I think he just thought that that Clinton was going to win, Secretary Clinton was going to win, and he thought, I can do this. This is a way to sort of make me cover it, and just in case we need it.
I think, and also one of the most, I think, and I'll use the word insane or incompetent or deceitful, whatever, is that letter that was submitted to Politico by 51 former intel who said that they thought the Hunter Biden laptop was evidence of Russian mischief. That was in October of 2016 or 2020. That was in October of 2020. But the FBI had seized that laptop 9 months earlier in December, and every single one of those 51 had friends over at the FBI they could have called. Every single one of them. Yet they signed it. Even the attorney, even the man who eventually became Secretary of State was involved in trying to get these 51 together. And it was just it was so written so slick as to create such a fiction when they could have proven it. Every single one of them could have proven it by picking up the phone.
Great point, Greta. And it's the same strategy because that originated with the Biden campaign. They call up Mike Morrell, knowing Morrell wants to be the next CIA director in a Democrat administration, in a Biden administration. They call him up, get him to do it. Wasn't
Blinken involved in that? Wasn't Blinken, who was he actually been on the staff, I think, of Senator Biden? Yeah, he started it.
Yeah, Blinken's the one that gets a hold of Morrell, gets him to initiate, go get the signatures, put the letter together. This has all the earmarks of a Russian information operation, all that. They get all the signatures. They use it in the debate. And after the debate, Ricchetti, who's running the campaign, who then went to work in the White House for Biden, calls up Morrell and says, great job. So it was the same. It's a template. That's what the left does.
Okay, so how do you get beyond the statute of limitations? If you find a crime, if the FBI does, I don't know if they will, by any of them, rather than it's just sort of political dirty tricks or something. How do you get around the statute of limitations? Are you suggesting some sort of ongoing conspiracy that extends? How do you get around it? Or
I don't know. I don't know that. What I do think is tying it all together. I mean, just like we're doing right now, where the same template was used for the Russian collusion, the going up to Trump Tower, using the dossier as a basis to brief the president, knowing that it's a bogus document. And then, of course, what they did with the letter, the 51. I think you try to tie all that together and say, this is how the left operates. This is how these individuals. Remember, Clapper and Brennan were part of both. They signed the letter. We deposed them last Congress about their involvement with the letter that the 51 people signed on the Hunter Biden laptop. By the way, they were almost as arrogant as Comey, which is hard to believe, but they were during those depositions.
Congress has to do something about when President Trump when he took the oath, he stripped all those 51 of their security clearances. There is no reason, in my mind, for anybody who's left the administration to still have a security clearance. I don't care if you're Republican or Democrat, but I don't know why these people can, for infinity, unless stripped. So there's got to be a law. There's got to be something that you shouldn't have a security clearance forever.
I agree.
Anyway.
I agree.
Chairman Jim Jordan, thank you, sir.
You bet, Greta. Take care.
People think news just happens. It doesn't. It happens because there's someone there to capture the moment, to explain it and share it. That's my job. I go where news breaks and give you the facts. Join me for The Record on Newsmax.